Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Agency Governance Learning Session. My name is Kimberly Wu, and I'm a Policy Advisor for Engagement and Capacity Building with the Public Agency Secretariat, which is housed in the Public Service Commission in the Government of Alberta. Today, I'm happy to introduce you to information on the updated Public Agency Member Orientation Guidebook. In today's session, we'll be providing an introduction to public agency governance, have an overview of the Public Agency Member Orientation Guidebook, and I'll point you in the direction of where to find public agency governance resources. We hope that by the end of the session today, you'll learn more about the updated Public Agency Member Orientation Guidebook and the resources available to orient yourselves as new public agency board members, or for you to orient new board members. The mentioned guidebook is a great place to start training with new members through the introduction of governance, roles and responsibilities, and other member requirements. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the land that we're presenting on today. I respectfully acknowledge we are on Treaty 6 territory and are broadcasting this session beyond Treaty 6, Treaty 7, and Treaty 8 territories. I also acknowledge the Métis people in Alberta who share a deep connection with this land, and I honor and respect the elders, past, present, and future. For those new to public agencies, I'll go through basic information on what public agencies are. Public agencies, also known as ABCs, which stands for Agency Boards and Commissions, refers to organizations established by the Government of Alberta with authority to perform or provide a public function or service in the best interests of Albertans. These could be in areas from healthcare to post-secondary education to agriculture and sector regulations. Public agencies provide services that affect all individuals, families, and communities across Alberta. Currently, there are approximately 240 public agencies in Alberta. Examples include Alberta Human Rights Commission, Alberta Foundation for the Arts, Travel Alberta, Alberta Health Services, Northern Alberta Development Council, ATB, Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis Commission, Campus Alberta Quality Council, and Alberta Investment Management Corporation. A full list of public agencies can be found on the Government of Alberta website. The Government of Alberta is committed to good governance through building policies for public agencies based on the best and most up-to-date information available. Policies and legislation ensures good governance practice and processes supporting accountability, efficacy, transparency, and performance, all of which are woven throughout all public agencies. The Government of Alberta is able to coordinate advice and guidance based on best practices on topics such as agency creation, mandate and rules documents, succession planning, and more. Ensuring public agencies are governed effectively and efficiently promotes the quality of these essential functions and services for Albertans. The Public Agency Governance Policy, or Governance Policy, provides guidance and best practices for governance of public agencies in Alberta. For background information, the Governance Policy coordinates the network of legislation which applies to public agencies. The acts and regulations include the Alberta Public Agencies Governance Act, also known as APAGA of 2009, Conflicts of Interest Act of 2017, Reform of Agency Boards and Commissions Compensation Act, RABCA, of 2016, and the Public Sector Compensation Transparency Act, PSECTA, of 2015. It should be noted that the acts and regulations supersede policies, and in a given context, diligence should be taken to ensure the most paramount legislation is followed. The network of legislation articulates and builds on themes such as accountability, transparency, and best practices associated with a variety of governance processes. Please see the governance policy and/or various acts mentioned for more information. Links can be found within the orientation guidebook and on alberta.ca. Guidebooks and other resources were created as part of a series of tools and resources in which provide more detailed information and instructions on the governance policy and how it should be interpreted and applied. Following the processes and recommendations outlined in the guidebooks ensures the consistent application of legislation and policy, which improves the accountability of public agencies and the departments overseeing them. As listed, in addition to the Public Agency Member Orientation Guidebook, there are currently guidebooks on centralized recruitment process, competency matrix and definitions library, member evaluation, succession planning, and mandate and rules document. All are available on the Government of Alberta website. The purpose of this guidebook is to provide a resource to newly appointed board members and help increase their knowledge of public agencies, their role in government, and the information provided in the governance policy and on alberta.ca. Today, we are presenting the updated version of the guidebook with information from the governance policy. I will go through each of the sections and summarize the changes. A major change that you'll notice is that there are links throughout the document which provide quick access to the resources online. If you do have the guidebook accessible, you're welcome to follow along as we outline the sections in the next slides. Page numbers of the sections are also mentioned on the slide for you. Section 1, Preamble, is on page 4 and provides an introduction to the Public Agency Member Orientation Guidebook and outlines what the guidebook contains. Section 2, Introduction to Alberta Public Agencies, contains foundational information for understanding public agencies in Alberta and the importance of serving in the public interest. Section 3, Public Agencies Governance and the Government of Alberta, discusses how public agencies and government work together and provide information on accountability, autonomy, and roles and responsibilities. Section 4, Board Member Considerations and Requirements, explains additional information on conflicts of interest, recruitment and appointment, succession planning, remuneration, and legislation. Lastly, Section 5, Resources, provides a list of additional resources that may be helpful, including links to legislation, guidebooks, fact sheets, and websites. In the Public Agency Member Orientation, after the preamble lies the second section on page 5. This section provides context on public agencies in Alberta and information about serving in the public interest. This section also provides more detail on the definition of public agencies in comparison to what was mentioned before. Check out this section to learn more about APEGA public agencies and categories of public agencies. The best interest of Albertans serves as a foundation to inform board members' actions and decision-making, as well as the work undertaken by public agencies. Board members have a general duty to act honestly and in good faith. Success depends on a strong understanding of roles and responsibilities of each person at every level of accountability and a strong relationship between public agency and Government of Alberta departments. Success also depends on agencies and government balancing levels of autonomy and accountability for the agency to fulfill its mandate. This is why it is best practice for agencies to have a mandate and roles document that offers no ambiguity on roles and responsibilities of board members and their role with government. Section 3 in the Orientation Guidebook, pages 6 to 9, provides information about the ways in which the Government of Alberta and agencies work together to achieve shared objectives. This includes definitions of governance, autonomy, and accountability, as well as the roles and responsibilities involved in public agency governance. The updated version describes agency-government relationship in more detail, as seen in the diagram on the slide, and the section on autonomy and accountability is more concise. On pages 10 to 12, you'll find section 4, which contains basic information for all board members about their role, as well as policies and procedures that affect their position. This section also provides details on ethics and conflict of interest, recruitment and appointment, succession planning, and remuneration. Board members must be aware of legislation, policies, and processes related to serving on a public agency in order to be successful in their roles. The most significant change in this section you'll see is the overview of accessing competencies for succession planning. In addition, this section introduces the Public Sector Compensation Transparency Act, PSECTA, and provides an updated list of relevant legislation. The last page, lucky number 13, has a section of the guidebook that provides a list of resources, which include links on where to find information on alberta.ca and relevant legislation. For more information on specific topics, please refer to the alberta.ca Public Agency Resources website for policies, guidebooks, and fact sheets. They are intended to be complementary to the policy that they act as communication tools for key policy areas and opportunities to ensure good governance. Pre-recorded learning sessions on the Public Agency Governance Policy, Mandate and Role Document Guidebook, Competency Matrix and Definitions Library, and Member Evaluation Guidebooks can be found on your Alberta Learn YouTube site. In addition to the resources you can find online, there are templates available to help with orientation that agencies can receive from their department contacts. These templates will be provided to the departments to fill in relevant information. Here, the agency fact sheet can help with orienting new board members on the agency they are appointed to, with brief information on the agency background, agency mandate, organizational structure, insights on roles and responsibilities, legislation, remuneration, and Government of Alberta contact information for further support. The Public Agency Secretariat PASS also developed a newly appointed board member checklist template to ease agencies on orienting new board members. This checklist could be useful to ensure board members are well oriented in their new appointed role. Orientation points cover introduction, knowledge on the agency and the board, review of documentation, and understanding of the strategic and legal responsibilities. Again, department contacts are able to edit these to ensure it makes the most sense to the agency in mind, as each one works differently. In conclusion, a thorough orientation and commitment to ongoing training contributes to clarity and increased understanding of roles, responsibilities, and accountabilities. This strengthens the knowledge and abilities related to public agency governance, contributes to continuous improvement of function and success of Alberta's public agencies. The Public Agency Member Orientation Guidebook provides new board members with guidance and knowledge to succeed in their role to serve in the best interests of Albertans. Public agencies and their respective departments are required to incorporate orientation into their onboarding processes for new members. PASS is here to support implementation and best practices. For public agencies, your government department contacts are the best point of contact for further questions and information. We hope that you find this guidebook useful as new board members or useful to train new board members. All the best to your public agency journey. Questions? Public agencies are encouraged to reach out to your department contacts for any questions, but you are more than welcome to email the Public Agency Secretariat at passinfo@gov.ab.ca for any further questions. Thank you.